Welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I can explain why I was absent last week, but I'm David Khourshid, also known as @DavidKPNO, here in person.
Excuses, excuses.
I had quite the travel snafu last week, but I'm here now, so.
Yeah, well, where's your luggage?
My luggage is with me, thankfully.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah.
So made it back to you. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Together we are Coding Compadres, Animation Amigos, Boolean Buddies, and Keyframe Companions.
Yeah, so we're going to be finishing an animation from last week where I ghost coded and Shaw coded from scratch. And we were just using HTML and CSS last time, but today we're going to be adding a little bit of JavaScript to finish up the animation.
That's right. And this show is made possible by your support, so you can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers or subscribe here on Twitch at twitch.tv/keyframers. The links are available below, and you may even earn some special shout-outs as we go, so definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're also happy to answer any questions you have, so reach out in the chat as we go, or in the YouTube comments if you're watching this after the fact. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, how was your conference, David? You were out at React Conf, is that?
So React Rally, which is like the it's sort of like the unofficial official React conference. Mm-hmm. At least in the United States, except they just announced that they're doing a real React conference over in Nevada, I believe, which is pretty interesting.
Like Las Vegas, or is there another town in Nevada?
There are other towns like Reno and the other ones that I can't think of now that exist.
there is certainly Reno, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. There were talks on things like on reactive programming and also the new things coming to React and just a whole bunch of React stuff. And we hadn't really done any framework specific stuff here, but in my day-to-day job, I use React. So
is that what VS Code is built on?
No, VS Code is actually built on Electron. And so Electron is just a way of like embedding a Chrome container inside a desktop application so that you could actually write desktop apps in JavaScript. And so they're just like desktop apps, except they weigh about 5 times more and they're about 2 times slower. But at least you get a desktop app that you could write in JavaScript, because that's what technology is all about, is writing everything in JavaScript.
That is what everything has been leading to up until this moment.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, why don't we get into the animation a little bit here. If you tuned in last week or caught up on the video, then you'll know from part 1. Let me pull it up here. We were working on this Vinyls e-commerce app by Tubic. And it's got a lot of nice, lovely little animations. By my count, there are 4 distinct states. We have the feed, the kind of vinyl close-up, and then the details, and then a kind of player view, something like that. And then it just goes back to the beginning. Well, last week we focused on just making the turntable. We wanted to recreate that with just some 3D CSS, and then we're gonna drop this into the user interface once we finish building that, and then we'll be able to animate that all together, just like the GIF here. So yeah, it was a fun little end result, if I do say so myself. Let's see that little intro animation, which is quite fun.
Yeah.
If it loads.
So I added a little code to start off.
I bet you
And
did.
but all right, so number one, it's just like HTML and a little bit of CSS, nothing crazy. But you might notice something different, which we have four, um, four apps.
That's a lot of apps.
Yes, it is.
Why do we have 4 apps?
That's a very good question. So, have you ever worked in, I don't know, like Swift or Android or anything, and you had artboards,
Yes.
right? Or yeah, just
or
those
Illustrator has
yeah,
artboard.
Illustrator as
Sketch,
well,
I believe.
or Sketch or Figma,
XD.
or yeah. And so when we were going through this, Shaw mentioned that there's 4 different states that we're going to go between. And so I sort of wanted to do this in sort of the way that you would develop it in a real life application, which is going by it state by state, doing one state at a time, and not thinking about how are we going to get from one state to the other, because that comes later. So your primary goal, the MVP, minimum viable product, is you want to show each state. And so when you do one action, you go to the next state. When you do one action, you go to the other state. And so developing each of the states individually makes the most sense. And because there's 4, we could each do 2.
I'm all for that. Let me get.
I see what you did there.
Let me get that animation link in the chat if you want to check out what we're working on as we go, so you can compare our progress. And then so let's see. So yeah, we've got the 4 different states: the feed, the kind of vinyl close-up, the details, and then the player view. All right. Well, what would you like to tackle there, David?
So let's see. So it makes sense to tackle the feed and the whatever the one where you see the album. So you could do that if you'd like, and then there's the other 2 states where it's the details and the vinyl opening up.
Yes.
And so
the turntable.
We could do just 2 and 2 there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll tackle the top 2 with the feed and the close up, and then you can plug in those details and get our nice little 3D turntable.
Or actually, let's do it the other way around. So you could go ahead and shove that, because you worked along the turntable last time because I was a ghost. So we'll do it the other way around.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get turntable in here. All right. So let's say data view is feed. Data view here is close up. We'll do details and then player.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Excellent.
So.
Ooh, thanks for hosting. Nuop. Is it Noop Cat? Is that how you would pronounce the username?
Yeah, I believe Noop Cat.
Yeah.
So again, that's Suze Hinton.
Yes. You should definitely check out her stream if you haven't.
Absolutely.
Lots of interesting hardware stuff happening there. Okay. Turntable. Let me see.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put these, the name of these, just sort of on the top. 25 friend, uppercase. Yeah, just so it sort of looks like you're doing this in Sketch or something.
Yeah. One thing I always add, if you scroll down right now, you'll notice the linear gradient kind of ends. One thing you have to do is set the height of HTML to 100% and then the min height of body to 100%. so that when it scrolls, well, right? What the
I guess it didn't work.
It did not. Is it because of our display flex? Or is it just not updating? Weird. Let's force it to update a little bit. Yeah, that's very strange. Okay, let's do...
Yeah. So while you're figuring that out, looking at this, I mean, I would say like parts of it could be display block, but I would want to do display grid for some of them, like the details view, and that's just because you have things like of course the heading is at the top, but you also have that button at the bottom, and so that's one of the big differences that you'll see between web apps and mobile apps is that you don't just have this flow of content going top down indefinitely. Instead, the content is rationed and proportioned correctly so that you see both the call to action and all of the details all within the same viewport, and you don't have to scroll.
Right.
In the web, scrolling is natural, but in mobile, it's actually not. It's all about gestures. And so we had to take that in mind.
I think a lot of that comes down to the screen size and the expectations there. With mobile, your dimensions are a lot more fixed when you're planning an app, whereas with the web, you're targeting basically every kind of device and screen size imaginable. So there's some assumptions I think that are made a little bit more with an app versus the web.
Yeah. So how's your CSS grid?
Fantastic.
Awesome. We're gonna nail this then.
Yeah. So one thing I do instead is add the background image to HTML, and that should fix it. Let's see. It's unbroken. No, good gravy.
Gravy is good. I had biscuits over in Salt Lake City. They were really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is Salt Lake City known for biscuits?
I don't know. They actually have some really good food, and it's an interesting culture over there. But for example, a lot of people there can't have caffeine just because of their beliefs.
Huh.
I mean, it's sort of the same as my belief in not wanting to wake up in the morning, but no, I'm kidding. But they do have some good coffee shops, ironically.
Huh.
No, Salt Lake City is just a cool city all around. So, and some beautiful hiking over there. Okay, let's see. Adding a header. And so I have a habit of like, every time I add a semantic HTML element, I'm also going to add a class just because, keeping specificity the same everywhere.
Yeah.
Good thing to do.
Now, when we are actually transitioning the state,
right.
are we going to merge these into one single app, or?
Yes, that's the plan. That's the plan. So right now, each one of these are under the class app, but when we're done with all of them, we're going to change them to class like layout or layer, right? Because that's what they are. And then we're going to put them into one hashtag app or ID app.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and change those to layer just for good times.
Okay.
So we don't have to modify a bunch of CSS later. Might as well just modify a little bit of it now.
What'd you do?
Broke things. That's cool.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I get the margin back. Okay. I'm actually going to comment out the turntable for the moment.
We'll be fine.
because this will help our refresh time.
What's today? Today's Monday, August 20th. Monday,
That's correct.
August 20th. Cool. And so, like, all of these, I'm, you could reuse them if you want. I'm making just a generic UI heading, UI subheading. And so we could reuse these components. And you could change them if you don't like them.
Let's see. Okay, so that.
There we go. Okay. Oh, I'm using runs. Sorry. You could change that if you want, but that's how I'm starting off. Deal with it.
Okay. Header.
Okay, let's see how this goes. And yeah, so one of the most frustrating things about developing these is thinking about how you're going to animate them. But that's why we're going to show you using the flipping technique. And you could either use the library or you could use something else, like actually implementing the flip technique yourself. You don't really have to think about that, which is a good thing. So. All right, so. All right, so I'm going to do a H1 heading and an H2 heading and an H3 heading, and they're all going to be UI heading. So just letting you know.
All right.
Just make things easier. Does this even work? H1, and let's find out. This is actually something I've never done in SAS before. We'll find out.
That should work.
All right. It's yelling at me. Yeah. So, and H1. And H2. Does that work? Come on. Yes, that works. Okay, cool. And I'm also going to have an H3. So. Because I noticed we have 3 different heading sizes, and that might change, but
yeah.
Let's see. I feel like that's one of the mistakes in CSS or HTML, at least, is just having the headings like that, because it's so hard to target like just a heading in general. You can't do like and H or like H. You have to have H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6.
Isn't there a proposed like pseudo selector for headings? I feel like there's one in a recent spec draft.
Maybe. I don't know. All right, and I'm also adding a .ui section, and so that's just a generic section. That's going to have the padding. Okay. I don't think my thing worked. Oh, wait. Come on.
I'm breaking things. Just a moment.
Just kidding. I'm adding the H1, H2, H3 stuff. I'm giving up. Doing it manually.
I mean, H2 and should work.
Yeah, but it doesn't for whatever reason.
What is it?
It's yelling at you. So
right.
Or rather, it was yelling at me. But
I only used it at the beginning. So
yeah.
Weird.
So yeah, we'll just do that, and I'll just make the default 1.5 frames so that whatever, that works.
We're not always displaying best practices in naming and class conventions. we go with what's efficient.
Right, and that's because we have like, 2 hours max to do all this.
Right.
So, like at the very most. But we try to be semantic, at least. And that's something that's definitely a good refactor target, or at least something that if you're planning ahead, you could think about. So, for example, I have these animations over here, which, I mean, they're analogous to the albums, but those could, and right now I'm just doing divs, but those could easily be unordered lists and, LIs. And that way, that's going to help your screen reader a lot, because it's a list of items, and if someone is blind or hard of seeing, then you want to be able to read them semantically as a list of items rather than just as random, random items. So
yeah.
Yeah, pair programming is awesome. Let's see, how big should we make these? It's about 40 VH width, so let's make each one of these albums 20 VH. I'm good? VH, RGBA, black. Oh, jeez. Okay, cool. So we have 3 albums. Now, what was your trick for like centering everything, on top of each other?
So let me see. Where's your selector there for UI animations?
Yeah, UI animations. So please help over here.
Yeah, I see ya.
Am I only? Oh.
Yes. So display, flex.
Okay.
And then
I feel like this is such a cool trick.
Sorry, and then UI animations width 100%, and then margin right negative 100%.
Right, but I'm setting width down here.
Yeah. So erase that.
Why?
And I'll show you a different way of going about it.
Okay, I'm all eyes or ears or whatever.
Okay, so yeah, that may not work for this the way those are overlapping.
Because what I'm thinking is like 20 VH and then margin right negative 20 VH. Would that work?
Yeah, in theory. Yep. And then we can do justify content center here. Oh.
Yeah.
Negative 10.
10. Oh,
Nope.
Okay.
Well,
wait,
kind of.
what?
Yeah, this I haven't tested the limits of this trick. There's some instances where it may not work quite right. What we can do here is set the width up here, and
don't know if I like that.
Why is that?
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to straight up hard code the heights, which is a terrible idea. I wish that there was some easy way. I'm sure there is, and this is something that we should explore more.
Yeah. One remain.
Yeah, but of course I want those centered, so with 100%. And so I could just do heights like calc 20 each plus 2 rem. I guess I don't even need this padding here because we're going to display flex. Just like on the center, line item center.
Well.
Yeah, and then I just have to.
They're still going to be stacked like that.
Close enough. I dig it. Close enough.
You can position absolute them, and then.
No, they're fine.
All right.
Like for whatever reason, this worked. So I'm like, this is one of those don't touch anything moments. Except, wait, did that work? Oh, wait, the width is being, let's see, the width. Yeah, flex shrink 0, flex grow 0. We don't want them to shrink. Ah, boy. That's fine. That's
yeah,
actually
they're
totally
gonna
fine.
they're gonna be translated back.
Oh, yeah. At least I think so.
Yeah, that's why I was suggesting the position absolute, because they're gonna have to, kind of be overlaid anyway.
You're right. You know what? You're right. Let's do that. Display block. Yeah, just to make things simpler. Otherwise, this is like definitely one of those candidates for for taking like half an hour on its own. So, okay, so we just position absolute those things. Width, height. Okay.
Sorry, I broke some things.
Oh. Yeah. All right. So the current one is going to be in the center. So that's just left calc. Or yeah, 50. No, not 50%. Left calc 50% minus 10 VH. Well, that's in the center. That works.
Hold on.
What are you doing? Aha.
This is my favorite centering trick with position absolute and a set width and height. So something like a SVG or an image or a container where you have a specific width and height set here. You can just set the bounds that you want it centered in between. That's this position absolute, left, right, 0, bottom 0, top 0, and then add margin auto, and it automatically goes in place. And then you can translate the others out to give it that kind of spread out effect. Let's see.
Fair enough. Yeah, and so we're going to do so.
Let's do.
And not current. Okay, that works. Close enough for me. I could actually make these bigger so that they actually overlap the screen. Just like, oh gosh, that's too big.
Too big.
There we go.
Yep, that matches up
there.
Nicely.
25. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I forgot to overflow hide to the layers, which I will do now, and you'll see them disappear. Boom.
Beautiful. Okay. One thing I always forget. So a definition list is made up of DTs and DDs. I always forget that. That never feels as intuitive as just a list item, LI. DT and DD.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And so, especially in React, before you had fragments, that was also pretty annoying to deal with because you had to wrap them in divs, and it was not semantic, and it was just a mess. So. Let's see, H2 type by heading, and of course we have to add the H2 because why not? Okay, yeah, I'll just leave it like that. So feed is done for now. I mean, there's a nice big banana there, but actually, yeah, let me just go ahead and add that banana. I feel like that banana is really important. So
I think so.
Yeah,
I know
it is.
I know a good banana you can add in there.
Yeah, it makes the animation really appealing. Well, just because the Velvet Underground and Nico has a Andy Warhol illustration on it. Yes. So,
is that a real album?
I don't know, probably. I don't know if they had licensing rights for it. We're probably gonna get sued for this. It's okay.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh, fix your CSS.
Hey, don't worry about it. It's not my CSS that's broken. Okay.
Oh, yes. All right, there we go. We have a nice banana.
Yes.
See that banana?
I see it. It's beautiful.
That banana's going to be animated eventually. Okay, so let's see what's next after the feed. So it opens up. All right, it opens up to close up, but you took over close up.
I just started putting what's going to be from close up in the next one, so that you didn't have to. Trying to save you a step, man.
Yeah, I dig it. Gracias. Stop being mad. All right, so funny enough, this one actually doesn't have a header, so we could just go ahead and remove all of this. It's just going to go to animations or something like that. And then we have this UI description here, which we are going to get rid of and just do .ui animation, which like each of these UI animations is the UI animation album. So I'm just going to make this full. Okay. Oh, and currents too. Hopefully we weren't too ambitious with this one, but it seems to be working out so far.
Yeah, we're 30 minutes in. Doing well.
That's always a scary thing, like, making an animation and realizing that, like, wow, this is going to take much longer than than we anticipated. But thankfully, yeah, probably not the case over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one we're going to translate to the left. Transform, translate X. Yeah, so what's going to do is it's going to hide to the left, but also scale up at the same time. And so we're going to see how flipping takes care of that naturally. At least I hope it does. Otherwise, I'll be eating my own words. So,
lovely meal.
Okay, cool. So we went to full banana to half a banana, which is exactly what we want. And so I'm also going to put an album in there, just so it slides out.
Hey, Neo. Yes, the animation is right here. Earlier, it should also be in the kind of show description. There you go. And usually, if you check on our Twitter feed as well, we'll have all those main links in there. Let's see. Let's go to
color black. This one's going to be black. Well, actually, background image, and so we're going to have a radial gradient from center, I think. However, the thing is, I don't know, why black? Let's see if that works magically. If this works, then it's like nope, it didn't work. I thought I would have, let's see.
I always forget the syntax for that.
Right, because it's one of those things that it has such a complex syntax, but it's also one that's seldom ever used.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it's just circle at center. It's like one of the few CSS things that reads like English. At center, and so we have like white 50%, black 50 points 0.0001% black. Did I mess up?
I was throwing some things off. There you go.
All right, cool. That worked, except it's a very skinny album.
There's only one song.
There's a lot of commented out CSS.
Yeah, that's the turntable.
Oh, okay.
It makes it a little smoother to have it commented out right now.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Looks pretty nice. Can you do a repeating radial gradient so it has some grooves?
I don't think repeating radial gradient is a thing, but I could manually do it.
Yeah, I don't.
Nah. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to flex my SAS muscles and do this. Okay, because I could say, actually, we'll say that for the end, just MVP for now. But it does sound like a fun idea to do. And I guess I have to get it. Let's see, this before thing, background color. It's so tiny beneath. Cool. And then top 0 left, it's actually going to be 50%. Nice.
Very nice.
It's going to slide out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, am I missing anything there? I mean, it all seems to be centered, which is, it actually looks nice, but it's not exactly what we want. It should be closer to the top. That's okay. I will add stuff and make that happen. Section dot. Section. What should we call this album? What albums?
It's already got a name. Turnable Tables.
Oh yeah, that's right. Turnable Tables. Oops.
And while I was tweeting all of this, I realized there's no vinyl emoji or no turntable emoji, but there is a mini disc emoji for all of you out there who listen to your music on mini disc.
Okay, UI section and detail. UI position, position relative.
Yeah, keep in mind that these will be unified at some point, so you can.
Yeah. So I'm still doing. Yeah, I'm still doing the specific classes. Nothing's leaking. Trust me. This is a leak-proof zone. Everything disappeared.
Wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me.
Okay. This is
do you like to prefix everything with UI for a reason?
It's just a habit. So basically, I like to namespace stuff. So and it doesn't matter what the prefix is, but it's like if I'm creating it, it's UI and then whatever. If it's like some third-party style, then that's going to get its own prefix. And so that just makes things a lot safer, rather than shoving everything into the same, namespace.
Sure.
Does it bother you?
It's just different. I'm not Not
And
terribly
it also
good.
follows RSCSS, which is sort of like them. But like with RCSS, it's like you have to have something dash something. So, but anyway, like, so right now I'm just doing UI whatever. You could also like just group things by like JS something if it's JavaScript specific, or I don't know. It's just a thing. Don't judge me. But I've gotten used to it, and it makes me feel like things are more organized. So,
Oh.
yeah. Actually, let's see. This full animation we're going to do with 35 VH and height 35 VH. So we're not going to scale it. Whoa, it's huge. Okay, there we go. And it's going to be, yeah, that works. I think a banana needs to be bigger, though. Like the 10 viewport height.
Yeah.
Oops, 20. Let's make it as big as possible. Well, I wish you could do font size a percentage of the height of whatever you're working with.
Yeah. That's.
I think you can.
That's
I
why
think
you
you
use
can
M's.
actually. Or no, not M's. Well, actually, M's might work. God,
See?
M's might work here.
See?
They actually might work. Okay, fine. All right. Font size and viewport height. So I could say font size 1M here. And then so for full, I could do font size 30 viewport height and still have the font size reflected, which it is. Okay, you win this time.
Usually do.
Yeah, that actually worked out magically. So, whatever. Okay, it seems like we pretty much have just one more to do.
Yeah.
And left caret Unicode.
Let's see. That button in
Left
there.
angle bracket, that's what I want. Okay. Perfect. UTF-8. Beautiful. Okay, I'll just have that there. I'm adding a UI link class, which isn't a link like an anchor link, but more it's like a I don't know, just a link. Like, going back, going forward.
Yeah.
Except for some weird reason, this Unicode character is like really, really wide. Or like the left angle bracket, it's actually very, very much to the right. Whatever. I will use the here's a CSS property you might not have used before. Or well, no, you definitely used it before, but you might not have used it lately. Text indent.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Oh, I remember that one.
It's a nice old thing. So we could give things a negative text indent. And so the great thing about it is it's not going to affect the layout, but it is going to affect the characters inside. Or at least I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect the layout. Let me double check that before I make any rash assumptions. Yeah, so it doesn't affect the layout, which is really cool. Because if you want to shift the letters inside, then yeah, it's a safe bet.
Hey Nick, thanks for joining us. Are we doing a Code Academy course? Not quite, but keep your eyes out. We do have some interesting content coming out that you might be interested in. If you go to keyframe.rs, you can sign up for notifications there, and we'll have some information out soon. It'll help you stay in touch.
Okay, and I did mention something in our in the Thunder Nerds episode that I did recently. So
that's right.
Yeah. Right now it's in the ideation phase.
Yes. And here's the link to what we're building right now. We've got most of the elements in place. Still piecing it all together.
Okay, cool. 3 out of 4 screens done. Or at least I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to add the heart thing. But while that's going on, I'm just going to start just a very basic the flipping setup. Oh, well, without putting the screens together first.
Yeah, we'll need to. Should we build the screen, the state machine setup first?
Yeah. Totally. Let's do that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna uncomment the turntable here and start getting that integrated into the final scene here.
So again, this machine is just basically a glorified switch statement. It's just an object that we read values from based on the keys, and the keys represent the states. And yeah, so we have like a pairing of when you're in one state and an event happens, it's basically an object that tells you here's the next state that you should go to. So looking at this real quick, we have the feed, and then when you click, yeah, I guess when you click an album, so initial feed, and so let's define our states. Our feed, when we tap an album, so I'll just put in album events, or sorry, yeah, we'll call it album, just to make things easy. Then what did we call that? Close-up, right? Close-up. So now on the close-ups, when we tap the more button, which I actually haven't done yet, oops, more, then we go to, what is it, details or description?
That would be
details. Good. You chose the shorter word. That's awesome. But also, when we go to back, we want that to take us back to the feed. And so this is where, you could sort of see this complexity, just going away. Is that you could clearly see that there's two things that you could do on that screen. You could either go back, or you could click the details. Or, sorry, you could click the album, and then you get the details. And then you're on the vinyl screen. Let's see what that's called again. that is called player. Okay. So more. Well, no, you're on the details screen. Just kidding. So details. All right. So now when you, I'll call that event's turntable, if that sounds good.
Yeah.
On turntable, you go to the player. So basically, when you tap on the turntable, it takes you to the player state, and I don't see any way to go back from that screen. So we're just going to leave it at that.
Turntable?
Yeah.
It has a back button at the top in the original.
No, I mean the screen before turntable. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think you just swipe up or swipe down, something like that.
Okay, well,
is what the original intent probably was.
Figure it out.
Equals details. Oh, data view equals player. That's what I'm doing. Once the disk comes out of the cover and onto the turntable, of course, I need to see. Yeah. Data view equals.
So I realized CodePen has this live script option. I've never tried that. Sort of scared to.
Live script.
But yeah, never heard of it either.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Machine.states current state events. Next state. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and add that data states like we've been doing to the app.
Cool.
And of course, right now it's not going to do anything. But at least we could see what the current state is like when we click certain things. And so we're going to just hook that up when I get to it. And so let's see. Oh, yeah, we have to add lapp. So console.clear lapp equals documents.query selector. I wish they had shorter names for these because this is pretty ridiculous. Data. All right, lapp.datasets.state equals current state. All right, cool. So now I'm going to just visualize that so we can see that. Yeah. And that's why this is one of the reasons I love using data attributes is that you could use them directly in CSS. And so that's another way where you could communicate directly between JavaScript and CSS. So that's pretty nice. So with that and CSS variables in your tool set, you're unstoppable. Well, I mean, you should not work more than 8 hours a day, but between 0 and 8 hours a day, you are unstoppable. Just want to throw that disclaimer in there. All right, now. Boy, you highlighted a lot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the problem with highlighting is it's so hard to read.
Both in books and in code.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so let's see. Animation current. How are we going to well, yeah, we'll just do it normally. So const, let's give it an ID.
Any idea why my turntable is so flat? Shouldn't it have more perspective?
Are you setting are you doing all the rain dance boilerplate?
So yeah, and line 258 in the CSS, I've got you know, the perspective there. And then transform style, preserve 3D on everything. So, not quite sure why that's not working, but we can get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking you just forgot some of the boilerplate. Like transform style, preserve 3D, right? And then
right. Well, I've got that on all the applicable pieces. I'm always worried that I misspell preserve 3D.
let me see where you are.
258.
Oh, 258. Okay, so let's take a look. Dr. David is here to misdiagnose you. Let's see, perspective 200. All right, so put this in the put that on the actual parents.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying other things to get that going.
All right, so because this turntable is, oh, give it a perspective of like a 2000.
No, the higher the perspective, the less the effect. We want it in order to test it out. Like a really low perspective would help us see that 3D-ness.
Transform style, preserve 3D. I mean, that's correct. Is the turntable directly on the layer? If it's not, you're going to have problems. No, it's not. Oh, wait,
yes,
wait,
it is. Under player, yeah.
Okay, so turntable, we have transform style, preserve 3D, perspective. Let's inherit that perspective. There we go. Oh my gosh.
Good gravy. Oh, well, I mean, I guess
nailed it.
I guess we can just do the perspective down here then.
Yeah, so that's what you were missing, but otherwise, you know,
that's weird. So yeah, 100 pixels is not what we want. More like, whoa, even 600 is a little strange. Might do based on viewport height or something. Good gravy.
What happened?
It just feels, you know, very different from the other. Let's see.
That probably just takes a little tweaking.
Yeah. Oh.
Yay, okay, so the state machine's working. A very, very simple state machine. The library required. So if you click the banana, you'll get to the close-up state.
CodePen's dying on my, my internet connection is dying. Wait for me, I'll be back. No. Okay. All right. I'm clicking a banana. It seems to be working.
Yeah, and if you click the other banana, you'll go to the details. So the cool thing about that is that the exact same event is being sent for each of those bananas. But because we have a state machine, each of those events are going to do different things. Yeah. So that's cool.
Sorry, y'all, on the stream if that keeps dropping out. Had some internet troubles this week, so
oh no, network error.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, I'm dying over here.
We need to set up a Patreon to get you better internet.
Yeah.
But rest assured, we are. Can we do collab mode on this, or not collab mode, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The classroom mode.
Oh, I wish. I've talked with Chris about that a little bit, because that would be really great to have people be able to see exactly, explore the code for themselves. Yeah. We should be back online now. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Or at least we'll be online soon. I'm not seeing anything.
Let me see. Yeah, looks like we're going. To me, as long as you can hear me, David, that's all that matters.
I can hear you, so
excellent.
We're good there.
All right, I'm seeing a double shadow on that. Don't know why that is. Okay. All right. So I think my states are mostly there. There'll be some tweaking to happen, but I'm going to go ahead and start overlapping all of the layers. Let's see.
Perfect.
Display. So we'll take
this is
off
where
that.
things get together, and I hope people could see this. Oh no, people can hear us. People cannot hear us. You might need to restart the thing. Or something.
Oh, jerk.
What?
He was punking you, as the kids do.
Oh, geez. Okay. I was going to start saying stuff.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, so now we have everything together.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, this should be margin auto. Why is that not centered? All right, don't cause anything to refresh for just a moment. Let me see.
Geez, sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
You know what? If I type, oh man, I can't even type that comment to that.
I know what it is.
Okay, I believe in you.
I think.
Los views, Las Vistas. You know, let's go full Spanish here. All
layer.
View.
Right. Justify content center. Does that need to be?
Right.
Oh, is it because of that? No. What in the world? Margin.
Isn't there a native HTML thing for hiding something? You know what I'm talking about?
There is an attribute. Let me see. Hidden. Yeah, the HTML hidden attribute. Yeah, I don't know if it actually hides the element. I believe it does, but yeah, and I don't know what implications that has for like accessibility or anything. Yeah, it doesn't seem to actually hide it by just adding it in there, but yeah.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna do style. Doing it live.
Wait, what?
And they're probably all going to disappear real quick. Did they?
Vistas?
Oh wait, La Vista. They've been La Vista.
No, it should be La Vistas.
No, because I have. All right.
Look.
You.
There we go. Okay.
Well, we won't go crazy into the Spanish just because Las Vistas means the views. So.
Okay, everything disappeared.
Did they?
Yes, and now they're back. Oh, if you click, you're not setting the initial state. That's why I always do the state equals feed, and then, I mean, I guess you're trying to do it more with JavaScript there.
Okay, everything's hidden, which is great. So, I'm just going to do this. Document.query selector. I know this is not the most efficient, like just querying in here, even though we have all of our views. View equals state. So we look for the states, and then .style.display equals what? Undefined? I don't know. Yes. Thanks. Does that work? Null, maybe?
Yeah. Yep.
There we go. HTML is so finicky. Or, well, JavaScript.
Finickish.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, hey, it works.
Yeah.
I just forgot to add in events for the item. So when you click the item, so Apple item dot add events listener click send. What event are we sending? We are sending.
That should be
turntable.
Turntable. All right.
Yeah. Again, naming could be better, but we just want things to work. And then let's make a generic back element. So I'm just going to add like data back to each of our back ones. And so that's going to save us a little bit of time. Back. And let's see. What's the other one that goes back? Oh, no, there is no back button on the last view. Is there? There should be.
Yes, there is. Back goes to feed. On
you could just copy pasta. It's okay.
Yeah.
Forgiveness. Okay, so let's see if it's there. Nope, not there yet. That's okay.
I didn't actually add the button, if that's what you were wanting. Let's see.
It's okay, I added it. So
just a moment.
It should be there. So when you click, yeah, so you have that players thing. And so that has that data back too. So const close back buttons equals document.query selector all
that
data back. Nice and easy. So then we could say close back buttons or array.from because it's in sort of a pseudo array, and that's for a good reason. I don't know exactly the reason, but I know it's a good reason.
I'm sure somebody has a reason. I don't know that it's a good.
No, it's a good reason. JavaScript is a very soundly designed language. So
designed perfectly from the ground up.
Yeah. So anytime any of those back buttons are hit, we're just going to send the back event. That's all we have to do. This is why I love state machines. So simple. So now we see that. Oh, it's not working. Oh, because I forgot to add the event listener. So that's, yeah, very simple mistake to make. It's also one that will get you kicked out of an interview if you forget to do it. So don't forget to add your event listeners. Okay, everything works, except we don't have a back button for the Turnable Tables. But I think that we could make an executive design decision and just straight up add them there. What do you think?
I'm sorry?
I'm adding a back button to the third view because it doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So let's go to the third view, which there is already a heading or header. Back.
let's see. So details should go back to close up.
And so, we'll just kill this and see what happens. It's a little strange. The UI header has a heck of a margin, so that's what.
Yeah, I added the margin in there too.
But that's fine. So are you? I think we still have a network error. Can people see us?
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, people can see us. I just had it off on Twitch. Okay, so and thank you to all of you still watching. All right, so we have our state machine working perfectly, right? Did you?
Yes.
Ish? No,
it's working.
Yeah. It is perfection. Just kidding. It does the job, which is all we could ask for. Now it's time to get to the thing that we've neglected this entire episode, which is the actual animations. And so we're going to just get flipping and show you how we're going to do this. So let me go ahead and grab that script, throw it in there. Okay. All right. So
under show current state. Is that where?
Yeah. So no, we're not going to do it there, just because it's going to already have changed. Actually, what we could do is we could
change
move
it before
this.
display none, right?
Well, what we could do is we could take this and move it here. Yes. So we're setting the state, and then we do all of that. Okay, and then so this function, this is where we could handle the flipping. And so just a refresher, what's going to happen is the document is going to go to the next view immediately, except right before the pixels are painted on the screen, we're going to read the position before this change happens. We're going to cause the change to happen. We're going to read the position after the change happens, and then we're going to calculate the delta. So for example, if something started at position 0 and it moved 100 pixels to the right, then the delta is 100 minus 0, which is, well, 100. And so you could say, hey, second view, pretend that you're the first view. And so what that's going to do is it's going to move the the element in question over 100 pixels to the left, and then make it move to the right, if that makes sense.
I'm with you.
Yeah, okay. We should do some sort of course on that or something. But let's start flipping. So const flipping equals new flipping. That's all you need to get started. And so just going through the steps here. So first we do flipping.read. And so that's going to read the positions of the elements that we care about. Now, real quick, let's go into the HTML and actually add some data attribute to what we care about. So we're going to take this animation current. So data key equals current animation. Or sorry, data flip key. This is going to say that we're associating this current animation with the bigger current animation view. So let's add that over here. Data flip, oops. All right, cool. Data flip key equals, giving it the exact same key, current animation. Okay, back to the JavaScript. So we're going to read the position. And then once all of our view changes are done, which is what's happening here because we're changing the state, we are hiding all of the other views, and then we're showing the chosen view. Oh, you know what we could do here? We could do this. If view dot, there's a matches function, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And so we could say if the view doesn't match the current state, we could just give it display none.
Still need to do that on an else because it'll be
right,
none
because
from another
otherwise
state.
Yeah, you're right. So that just gives us a bit of a.
I always like to be positive with my if statements.
You're such an optimist.
I'm a cheery guy. I like to.
I'm more of a nut. I just like.
I like to see the if statement as half true,
not half false.
Right.
Okay, so flipping dot flip, and so what this function is going to do. Whoa! It does some animation at the beginning, which is cool, I guess. Not really intended, but that's okay. It reads the current banana position. It does the layout changes, and then it reads the next one. And so you can see it sort of goes back and forth between each one of those. Now, over here, it's sort of doing a weird thing, and that's because there's already a transform on that element. And so, which, let's see, it should be reading that. Here, let's slow things down. Let's do duration 1000 and see what's happening there. Whoa. Okay, yeah, funny enough, it's going all the way to the left. So that probably has to do with our transform, and something I probably have to address. Again, this is all nice beta software. So let's see. Current, transform, translate, X. Right, so the current one's in the center, and so when it's full, here, we're just going to do that's negative 50%.
Yep.
Okay, so that should work. And that's probably something I should have done before anyway. Yeah, there we go.
It's much better.
So you verified that it works too?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. So all we're doing is we're giving the same data key, and of course now I have an issue that I probably need to fix where we should be taking the current transform on the element into account, which I'm not doing. Or actually, I think it's because there's a transform applied to the parents, maybe not. Anyway, it's something I just have to look at. So
yeah, with get bounding client rect, I believe it will factor in the transform. There's one of those methods you have to do a trick to get it to not read the transformed position, but I can't remember exactly which one.
Yeah. Now is something else. There's a data flip state, and right now there's two states, and this is just a data attribute that's added to every data flip key element. And so there's a data flip state equals active, and so that just says it's currently animating. So what we could do is for the full one, if it's active, and data flip state equals active, this after should be transform none. What we're going to do is we're going to transform that. Yeah, and so left 0, transform, translate X. We'll just do 0 here, and then we'll do data flip state complete. So once it's complete, once the animation is complete, it's going to translate X to 50%. And so what's going to happen is right now that's just going to happen immediately because we don't have a transition on that. And Shaw's going to add that right now.
Almost added a linear transition on there.
Hey, you're using my Cupid Bezier. I should get that trademarked.
I've got it memorized now.
Awesome. Okay, so that works, except it for whatever reason it starts off at like, oh, we have to do, or do we have to do transition? This is weird. Do you notice like it goes out then in then out?
It's working fine.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Except when you go back, then it doesn't do that. So,
Yeah.
but what we could do is we could have a and flip state equals active, just to make sure that we have that transform none over there. And then so that just makes sure that.
Well, I think what's happening is that pseudo element doesn't exist on the animation because you're not adding it in there. Let me see. Do that.
Oh yeah. All right. So actually, nah, that shouldn't matter because it's with pseudo elements, they're not really shared, so we don't have to worry about those. But there's one thing that I wanted to address real quick, where right now we're doing display none. However, we saw in one of our previous episodes, the bicycle episode, remember?
I remember.
That we don't necessarily want that. We want each view to persist just for a little bit because we want specific elements within those views to animate away, while other elements are coming in. And actually, the same thing for a couple of other. Instead of this view style display, we're going to add a data attribute. So view dot data set dot active equals true here. And that's just going to be the string true. So keep that in mind. Data set dot active equals false here. Or we could just straight up delete it. Right? Can you just do undefined? No. Anyway, we'll just match it on active equals true because now for each of these views, data view.
I believe if you set it to false, it will be removed.
So,
let's see.
Oh, okay. I'll try it out. Let's see if that works. So, and data active equals true. Regardless, it's still going to work. So each of these data views, we're going to have just Shaw's favorite thing, which is visibility hidden, right?
I'm a fan of it. It has a lot of uses. Where are you setting this up at, by the way?
Line 40 in the CSS.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's just so that we could, make certain things visible but animate away at the same time. So, for example, everything except like just going for the first two views, everything sort of just translates to the left except for that album, and for the album to the right of that album. So.
Sorry, y'all, if the stream may be going in and out. We're still going. So hang in there.
Yeah.
Let's do.
Okay, so let's see. We have that view equals feed. Okay, so yeah, let's add a few fun animations.
Yeah, I've added just a slight opacity transition happening.
Right, but we want to make sure that opacity doesn't affect like the actual album. Right.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing you can do is fading out the actual view, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's still going to cause some issues.
Yeah, because I mean, what's happening is that the view is fading in, which is not exactly what we want. So I'm gonna add some animations here. Got a view equals feed. Did you verify if that setting it to false uh, like removes it?
I believe you have to set it to null.
Okay, well, I mean, either way, I'm just seeing if it's not data active. And then I could say, trying to think of the best way to do this. Whoa, you are shifting this.
Sorry.
And actually, null doesn't work either. I think we have to straight up delete it.
There is a way. Let's see.
Oh, it's being deleted.
Yeah, you can just do actual delete if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, so
yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
Yep, that'll do it.
That'll do. That'll do. Okay, so data view. If data view equals feed, if it's not that active equals true. Let's just do an example where everything just goes to the left. Transform, translate x, negative 100%. Okay, so yeah, you'll see that, actually no, it just disappears completely. Oh, that's because we have that visibility hidden. So let's remove that opacity for now. And just, okay, so now we have everything showing, which is exactly what we want.
Is it?
No. What happened here?
What hasn't happened? Oh, goodness.
Let's see, visible. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh. Transform, 3 seconds, just ease. Right, because I'm trying to get like, oh, okay, hey, look, that worked, sort of.
Yeah.
But it went really, really, really fast.
It did.
It is zoom in there. So I think in the HTML, I guess this is the best option of doing that. We really have to research this, but just adding classes or just little things that say, hey, we want you to move to the left and you to move to the left and all of that. So I'm just going to add that class. So for the, let me look at the animation again. Yeah, so it looks like just basically everything moves to the left. So we're going to target the biggest areas. So I'm just going to exit left. So this underscore, it's ugly, but I mean, Ben uses a ton of them, so I don't feel that guilty. But these underscores are sort of a convention for just utility classes, or classes that aren't really related to the main classes. And so I have an underscore exit dash left. And so I could say dot underscore exit dash left. And so we could see that only the ones with those classes are going to exit to the left, which they do, which is pretty great.
Very nice. Let's see, where's that?
It does a little fast though. But you see, that works.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Nice. Okay. Phew. We have something going on. It's good. Let's see. Close.
Just a moment. I turned it to turned auto updating preview off for just a moment because I need to inspect something.
Okay,
so
no problem.
You can go to town.
No problem. All right, so it looks like I'm going to be adding this exit left to to a bunch of things, which is fine. which means I could just make this more generic, which is awesome. Cool, that works. It's ugly, but it works. And that's the first step to being really good. It's ugly, but working.
Yep. Okay, there we go. I figured it out. Okay, now should be aligning quite nicely. Auto updating preview back on. Oh, is everything broken, or is that just me?
Yep.
What's broken here?
Absolutely everything's broken. What did you do?
Oh, margin right, negative 100%. There we go. All right, now we're in business.
Awesome. Cool. See how things move to the left?
Yeah, dig it.
Nice.
Now, do we need enter right and such?
For what? Oh, yeah, those enter classes. Yeah, so data view active equals true. Yeah, so for those, we could definitely do that, like enter right, and we could do things like, I'm on line 54, by the way, in CSS, just adding those utility classes. And this is where transitions come in really, really handy. And I'm also going to add a really ugly class.
Oh, man.
It looks like a really messed up emoji, but...
Hey, thanks for subscribing, Granoladen, something like that. You can also subscribe to Keyframers here on Twitch using your Twitch Prime subscription. That is no cost to you if you have Amazon Prime, and that supports the show and helps us out. So definitely appreciate that, Grano. Star equals.
Yay, it works. Wow, so at least we got the first two views. Yes. That's fantastic.
Data view to right, data view, data active. Right. Bless you.
Thank you. Well, I fixed the record problem.
Nice. Am I doing it right here? Is enter right?
Transform, translate x 100. Oh, okay. Here's what we could do. These enter right things, basically we could say when they're not active, then they're going to be all the way to the right. And then so over here we could say this enter right, and I guess enter left if you, whoa, what'd you do?
Look down below, and I've got that already.
Yeah. So it just undoes that enter right sort of thingy.
Yeah. So what is entering right? Do we
Nothing.
have anything? Okay. I was about to say I keep clicking and nothing's happening.
But there is something entering from the bottom, so that's what I want to do. Transform, translate y 100%. And so basically we could just do sort of a, again, ugly class, but I don't care. Enter. So transform none for those classes. Because we have that when you go to that Turnable Tables thing, that enters from the bottom. So that we could have a enter. Oh, that way. Oh, but the problem is it's visible. So we need to just make sure that's not visible.
Oh yeah, so I added that right above that on line 48.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that should only apply to class exit then. Oh wait. Hold
no.
on.
Well, so this is where the animatability of visibility comes in handy.
Okay, I trust you.
Linear 0.6 seconds.
Whoa. 0.1 seconds, linear 0.6 seconds. Where do those two timings come? Oh, is that the delay? That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, but I still see turnable tables.
It'll happen. Visibility, visible.
Yeah, so we just don't want to see those turnable tables.
Let's see. Visibility. Okay. Let's see. And then, yeah, okay, so down here is where we want to add visibility hidden. Right. Or is this too specific? No, this should override it. Visibility hidden.
Okay.
Oh,
of course.
Yeah, it needs to happen down here.
Let's
there we
see.
go. Okay, that should work in theory.
And this one is also going to exit left. And hopefully that doesn't mess with the animation. Oh gosh, it does. Shoot. That's okay. We can do this. I'm just playing around with stuff right now. Okay, yeah, this exit left thing isn't really doing what I want it to do.
Underscore exit visibility hidden. That should be working. Did you remove exit from the Turnable Tables?
No, I didn't.
No. Oh, so that's interbot. Okay, that's what it is. This equals inter.
Okay, let's inspect this real quick.
Yeah, there we go. So, with the visibility transition, so we have it delayed 0.0 seconds because on exit we want it to stay visible until the animation is complete, and then the animation delay equal to the duration causes it to stay in place or stay visible, and then it'll blink out of existence. But when we have an enter animation, we want it to be visible right away, so we remove that transition delay and it instantly appears. So if you click through those first ones, get that. Oh, jeez.
Okay, I'm just keeping something like here. I'm trying to set the previous state as well. That set that previous state equals. Oh, it does not.
I'm just adding some additional classes here. The bottom for the details. And then on most of those, we probably want an opacity transition as well, right?
Yeah. So I'm just adding something else that, in my experience, can help us tweak the animations better, which is adding the previous state as well. And so that's something we've also done in previous episodes too. Because, for example, this big banana album cover thing, I wanted to slide to the right or to the left, but only when it's going in a certain direction. So only when it's going from Turnable Tables over to the details view do I need to turn to go to the right. So that's what I'm going to do. So I could just say data view equals not close up, right? Details. Let's see, so data view state equals close up. And then data view equals details. Data active. Sure. So many selectors, or so many data selectors, but they're all important.
Equally as important.
So
Just a moment. How are we looking?
data state equals data view equals close up. Oops.
So much CSS.
State equals details. Oh boy. HTML. Okay. So full current. Something interesting is happening. How do you pause the playing again?
Pause the what?
The it reloading.
Settings, behavior, auto updating preview, and
I guess it doesn't matter.
go. I'm just working on some of the animation elements here. So one of the things I need to do is transitioning open to closed. I remember how I did it.
Let's do that. This might be a lot simpler than I. Oh wait, it's not.
Never is.
Some funky things are happening.
I may have changed a few things.
I'm trying to get that nice album to behave.
Banana.
Okay, let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, so when we're on the detail state, the close-up view should be oh boy. I'm confusing myself here.
Let me know if I can help you track it down.
Yeah. Track this down. It's like this banana is being really slippery. Let's just say that. And it's not doing what I want to do.
Hey, how's it going? Maxis. Glad to have
Hey,
you with
Dead
us.
Maxis. You're alive to us. Okay, so we're getting close on getting all of these little tiny animations, and this is one of those animations where the more that you look at it, the more micro interactions there are. So we might not be able to cover them all, but see what we can do.
Thanks, Maxis.
Oh, I wonder, are you moving entire layers to the left by any chance?
No, the layers themselves, yeah, are all normal.
All right, good.
Thanks for following.
All right, so let me just think about what's going on here. Full.
Changing the default state for just a moment. Did that work? Why is that not working?
Okay. So one debugging trick with flipping is you could also set a delay. I'm just going to do that real quick, just so we So you could visually see what the animation is doing. Aha, so something funky is going on.
It's usually the case. Oh, that delay is interesting.
Yeah, but it really helps you debug things. So that's why I like using that. Because right now I'm having trouble with yeah, with it going from one spot to the other. And what I think it might be is the previous yeah, I think that's a culprit. These data flip keys. Like the very first one might still be interacting somehow. But there's an easy fix to that, so.
Ballum asks, how do you guys split up the tasks you're working on? Whatever I don't want to do, I just wait for David to take the initiative, and
Sounds about right.
It's sometimes by skill set, sometimes by interest, sometimes just by
sometimes we just jump in and see
whatever the other person is not working on.
But that's a very good question. We don't really have a set way of doing that. We just yeah.
Okay, I'm moving back over to the original animation for just a minute because
okay,
I've got something to debug.
No problem.
So let me know if you're doing anything interesting, and I'll pop back over to.
I never do anything interesting.
Okay, there we go. So that works well.
Okay, yes, there is a very useful thing that can solve the problem I'm having, and I don't know why I didn't think of it, but it's called active selector. So just a quick tidbit about flipping and just the general flip technique. By default, it considers an element active when it's being displayed. Makes sense, right? If it's display none, it's not active. If it's hidden for some reason, it's not active. And so it's going to just go with the first visible key that it sees. Now, we can narrow this down and give it an active selector in the option. And so we could just say if L matches data active equals true. So we look for the true, the active states. And yeah. So these elements, by the way, are with the data flip key. So we could say we define an active element to be one that's in our current states. So the states with data active equals true. So now let's see if that works. Okay. Well, it sort of works, which is good. Sort of working is good enough for me. So
sort of working is better than not working.
Yeah. All right, that's the details. Data vehicles close up. We have
a little bit of progress. Yes.
Okay, transition transform. So we could transform. So yeah, this is actually going to help a lot because now we're narrowing down and not just saying anything. I'll show you what I mean. I promise.
Let's see. Fortunately, I can't use my CSS variables as much as I was wanting there. It's okay.
Previous state equals close up. So, and this, one of the reasons why having this state machine is good, I know I talk about it all the time, is that you could really consider every single possible thing that happens in your app. So for example, I now have to consider what happens if you're on the detail screen and you go back to the close-up screen. So I could just do, if the data preview state is the the preview state is close-up, and right now we go back to the, actually, and we're coming back from, and the data state is close-up. So when we're on the close-up view, but we're coming back from the details view, I sort of want the big album to animate in from the left, and so I could do that. Transform.
Okay, there we go. It's working.
Yes, it works. It's beautiful. All right, so it's working in one direction and almost working in the other direction.
Okay, I've got to move this.
Whoa, I just clicked the turntable and that's smooth.
That's
pretty cool.
That's the intention here. Not a full, not fully working yet, but closer. And active.
Cool, I'm going to animate these player items. Let's see how they animated. They just scoot on up. Perfect. Makes my job a lot easier. I can just scoot them on up. Or actually, I could just do enter up. Probably for those all those things. So enter up, if we have that enter up class. Did you ever define that?
The enter up? No.
No, we didn't define enter up. Just kidding. Enter up, translate.
There we go.
Why?
Sorry. Moment.
Cool. This is looking good. A little messy, but good. I mean, this is better than what you could usually expect from 2 hours, really.
Sorry, cats were wrestling outside the door. All right, come back to auto updating preview. Just FYI. There we go. Beautiful. All right, that's much better. Let's see. Table open. Let me undo all my changes here.
That's cool. Can you make it like rotate while it does that?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it to pop up as well. Okay, where's y'all? Let's do. table.
Yeah, that's looking good.
Yeah, surprisingly, it starts out really well from flipping with the that transition from that particular spot.
Yeah.
Rotate X 0. Rotate Y 0. 360 degrees. Like that. Fix my broken parentheses.
And our UI button. Where? Oh my god. We made the UI button a div. That's like the ultimate crime, man.
Nah.
Do we have it? Enter. Oh wow, I put it enter up. It should be enter. Well, no, enter up makes sense. I don't know why we didn't enter. Well, no, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Enter up. Don't worry, I will save your UI button.
I don't need. Yeah, it doesn't specifically need that. I can do that and that. Maxis, thanks for joining us. Why is that still happening? Table. Oh, that. Ah, that's what it is. Rotate Y 0. Yeah, that feels nice. Did you add an exit bottom, perchance?
I did not.
Well, it seems to be working. Maybe that's just
all right.
byproduct of the.
There's one thing, like going back, like I don't know if you could look at this quickly or not, but
yeah, where are
you go from the feed to the close up, and then you go back. Everything disappears and then reappears after a delay.
Yeah.
Is that part of the visibility type thing?
It's possible. Let's see.
Hey, thanks Dead Maxis for joining us and leaving. That's work.
Yeah, because it works well when you're in details and go to close up like that. That transition is fine.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what's happening to break the other way.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe I did something wrong. Did I? No. Didn't. Oh, that's so cool. So I fixed the state machine because it was going the wrong way. Check it out when you go from the details view to the player view and then back. Oh, also, nice. The album does something freaky, so I will fix that. Yeah. Sorry. Data view state. All right, so data state close up, data view state details. Sorry, data state details, data view close up. Yeah, what is happening there? Why are you doing that?
Is it? It's because its default state is in the center, and then when you're shifting to the details view, that's when it's shifted off. So.
Oh, and only the details view. So
right.
Let's say not data state equals close up, or well, all right, it's not data state equals close up. But then we might have a problem when coming from the first state. So, oops. Let's delete. Okay. So we're here. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Going back, that's fine. And then it's just feed. That's the only problem.
It's just feed? What do you mean?
Yeah, so going from close-up to feed.
Oh, right.
It's sort of a mess. And I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing something special to the feed view because every other view works pretty fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, let me take a closer look here.
Also, I know some jumpy stuff going on with the. Let's see here. UI setting. Flat heading. That's weird. Okay, taking a look at the third view. Not the player view. The no, actually, yeah. Close up. Details. Close up. All right, so you notice, like in the close-up view, the Turnable Tables heading sort of bounces.
Yeah.
I think that's because, actually, I don't know why that is.
Well, I'm doing a data flip key on that to transition it.
Okay, so I think if you're mixing,
so that might need to be dropped.
Right, because because you're having no, the data flip key is fine. This enter bottom thing, let's add that to the section, because that's what the animation is anyway.
Okay.
So.
It's still got some oddity there. Yeah, still a little bit weird.
Okay, so now that works.
And when you're coming from details and going back to close up, oh, there it goes. Worked that time.
Yeah, it works fine.
The album wasn't coming out originally for some reason.
Well, it's an exclusive album, Shaw. You can't just expect it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is with the first state. We may just have to play with that one offline.
Yeah.
And
but going forward, I mean, it actually looks pretty nice.
We're
so.
rather close to the original here. Shall we move it into our favorite portion of the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's see if my animation works this time. Come on. You can do it, little buddy. You can do it. No. Well, anyway, you're entering Keyflections, a quick review of the techniques we used to build this animation. If you have any questions, now is a great time to ask, and we can run through some of the things as we break them down.
Yeah, and of course, if you've enjoyed watching this so far, follow and subscribe here on Twitch. Thank you to all of you who have done so already. And you could pledge at patreon.com/keyframers, and so the links are right down there.
That's right. All right, so let's go back to the original animation really quick just to see that. Hey, thanks for following, AK. Vinyl's e-commerce app by Tubic. So we've got these beautiful state transitions. If we break it down in GIF Scrubber here, we can see them in a little more detail. Vinyl rolls out, and then the content transitions up. And then we get our beautiful turntable popping into place there. And so in our first part of this, we built the 3D turntable because we wanted to have a nice 3D turntable to animate. And this is all CSS, and so we've got that dropped in here, and it animates nicely. On open, on back it's a little rough, but we can try and clean that up later.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start and go through. What do you want to cover first?
So there's a lot of things in here, and believe it or not, this is all techniques that we have used before, so we're not going to go into too much detail. But the most important thing that I want people to take away from here is that we started by developing each state individually. So first thing is planning, right? So if we take a look at our state machine in the JavaScript, we see that we have 4 states. We have feed, close-up, details, and player, right? And so this is what I like about using JSON, or like a JSON sort of object format, is you could collapse all these and just get a bird's eye view of all of the different states of our app. And so these 4 states we did separately in the HTML and designed them individually so that we could prepare them for the flip technique. And so just a refresher on that, the flip technique means we take 2 elements, which are, we want them to be connected to each other. Like they're essentially treated as the same elements.
And they could be the same element.
They very much could be
the same element across 2 different states.
Right. And so what happens is you read the position of the first element, then you change the layout somehow without animating, just changing the layout. And then you read the last position, whether that's the same element or a different element with the shared key. And then you calculate the delta between those 2 elements, and you make the illusion that the second element is in the first element's position. And then you animate it back to its original position so that it looks like it's moving from the first position to the last position. Hence, that's the FL in flip.
Yes.
So first, last, inverts, then play it back so that it goes back to that original position.
Yes. The rest of it is pretty standard state machine style setup, toggling between the states, setting the data state and data active attributes. From there, each of our layout has some elements that are have some special transition classes that allow it to exit in or enter in from different directions. We set those up with just general transitions with these monsters of selectors here, and we're using a visibility transition to hide those at the end of it.
Yeah, I posted the giant URL again. So that's the state machine. And so you could visualize the app as this state machine over here. And so you have a few actions that you could do on each one, and you could see how things go from screen to screen in this state machine.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and so it's a very simple state machine.
Yes. And so here's all of our enter and exit. And whenever the data view becomes data active, those get transitioned in place. For the enter ones, we remove the transition delay because we want those to be instantly visible. So that's what the visibility visible here does, overriding the transition delay here. And we set it to transform none so that it moves into place. And so that's how we get the current animation piece there and a few other bits. And then real quick, the turntable animation that I accomplished a similar thing here on the intro of this animation where it spins around and comes into place. That I accomplished, let's see, down here. So when the player state is active, the turntable animates in from rotate 0, rotate y 0, and the turntable top opens up, going from the initial state. And I have some of those variables kind of set up here that get it in that final position, just like the sliders did here. These sliders are just adjusting the CSS variables so that could be played around with. So that's the basic trigger of that. Any other pieces you want to cover really quick?
Yeah, just real quick. We have these utility classes for entering and exiting. And so these are going to be really handy. So for example, this underscore exit left or enter up or wherever that is. Basically in exit utility class, whenever we're not in this current state, we want to make sure that it goes off to the left. So we just do a transition and a transform, and it's going to do that. And so that way we have a little bit of choreography there. And same thing for enter, except for enter, you want it to be that whenever it's not in the active state, that's when you want it to be out to the right or the left. And then once it's in that active state, you transition to transform none. And that way it's going to transition back to its normal state. And so those two types of utility classes are going to be really handy. Yeah.
Yes.
Those are the main things I want to cover.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good stopping point for us. If you have any questions, you can ask real quick while we wrap up. We'll probably do a few tweaks to it as it goes live and everything, but the general techniques will all kind of stay the same there.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Cool. Well, you've been watching Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to see more from David and I, there are many ways you can support us and follow us. First, subscribe and participate on the live streams every Monday at twitch.tv/keyframers. You can also like and subscribe at youtube.com/keyframers. That's where all of our archives will be, and you'll find the video for this there as well. You can also tweet at us and spread the word at twitter.com/keyframers. And you can also pledge to support us at patreon.com/keyframers, and that is a huge help.
Yeah. So this episode's animation was one that we just found, and Too Big Studio does amazing work. I've been recreating their animations for years, but of course we do accept submissions for future episodes, and so you could contact us in any way that you want to show us an animation. Maybe you find us walking in the middle of the street and you sort of act out an animation, and we'll try to recreate that.
Interpretive animation. I like that.
Interpretive animation. I dig it. Yeah, and so of course present questions, challenges, anything to us on air, because we want to educate you. That's our goal.
Yes. And do keep an eye out for more from us. Follow us on Twitter, of course. And then if you go to keyframe.rs, you can sign up for notifications on some big stuff we've got coming. So stay tuned for all of that. And until next time, adios and amigos.
Adios.